matter what.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alana here. Welcome back to 3 Degrees of Love, 3 Degrees of Love Divination. So I wanted to do this video continuing with my series of therapy and tarot. You know, if you're just joining me, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for your support. And if you haven't already subscribed, I welcome you to do so. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that have come up in therapy that I talked about. Of course, we know what's going on in the world right now. Unfortunately, my love and my prayers go out to those suffering. Like I said, I think I've said this before. I stopped watching the news in 2020. Actively, for the most part. And even more so now, it's because of what's presently going on. With Israel, Palestine. I make it a point even more now to avoid the news. I try to say at almost all costs if I can. Very hard to do because, too, there's social media. There's, the connectivity to that. And, things can be in your face. Monday was a very difficult day for me because I woke up, well, I probably do what a lot of people do, but we probably shouldn't do, is, go to bed with our devices. Big no-no. But yet, I still do. Anyway, I'd woken up Monday morning and decided I wanted to check my Instagram. And the first thing that popped up, I did not even go looking for it. I don't know how it ended up on my feed, but it was the most horrific images of what is currently going on. To the point where I almost threw my phone just to get away from it. And to say that how unsettling it was, there are no words. Well, there are many words, but probably too many that And I realized that it immediately was triggering. To the point where, like I said, I pretty much wanted to throw away my phone. But I ended up falling into this dark cloud of, I'm not dealing with this today. Rolled over and went back to sleep. Because I didn't know all the emotions, everything that was flooding into me, through me, was just too much. It was overwhelming. I had reached my emotional capacity, if you will, and it's not that difficult for me these days to sort of reach that. And that is something that, I do work through in therapy, being a very sensitive person and very empathic. After all, as I say, I am love, right? And so, anyway, what has been plaguing me this week is the idea of connectivity, the idea of spirituality, what it means to be holistic and be a spiritual person. The idea of universal love, what that is exactly. I have talked about that before in my channel, in previous videos, talking about my exploration and understanding of what love is, as a Christian, what that means and embodying that. And one of the themes that, especially as I, bear witness to, members of the tarot community, just in spirituality in general, New Age, so, not even to say, well, even in the old sort of, institutionalized forms of religion, right, in various aspects, and what is the common belief and things like that, and the idea of being one with nature, and the running theme that seems to be going on now is that being one with Mother Gaia, being one with the earth, and and stuff like that, and unity and oneness, and what all that means. And the one thing or commonality, if you will, that I see, or disconnect, if you will, is among those themes and the idea of, connecting with nature and, grounding and hugging a tree and all of these things. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely beautiful, because this is our world. This is where we live. This is our home. But one thing that I seem to notice, and I'm not sure if anybody else does, or how many people really do, but it's the fact that if we are one with nature as human beings, right, and this idea of, being one with our environment and, and stuff like that, if we come from the earth and return to the earth, doesn't that mean that being one with the earth also means being one with one another? Somewhere along the line, many of us seem to forget that, and have for such a very long time. I hear a lot about, the idea of self-worth and, advocating for ourselves and things like that. That is very important as a human being, right? But we have to be mindful and to remember that just as we, on an individual basis, want and expect to receive that respect, that understanding, and demand that for ourselves, we have to be willing to give that to one another. And I think I've said that on many occasions before, but I say that again because of what we see going on now. And to me, the cruelty that we display against one another, if we're on the top of the food chain, right? As human beings. And we're one with our environment, and we are one with nature. Then we should be one with each other. How do we do that? Well, with the conscious mind, with trauma, there are many things that can interrupt that flow and that sense of connectivity. This idea of competition, this sort of patriarchal sort of way of life that we've adapted to for such a long time. It's hard to die. It just, right? But it has also left us, the collective, with so many woundings. Generationally speaking. And if we all have that baggage, and we all walk around with all these sort of traumatic experiences and past, and that lowers our vibration, that keeps us disconnected from one another, and understanding and empathy and all of that, then how can we maintain a sense of connectivity with nature if we don't know how to accurately and respectfully keep connected to each other? So this is something that has, has really been circulating in my brain, and that has, well, for a long time, but even more so because I was triggered Monday. And sitting with that and reflecting on that and trying to work through my emotions regarding that. It was something that that of course was a big thing in therapy for me today. And how this sort of forced upon violence that we see, that is currently taking place, how that affects the collective. But even when I think about just in general, like that's the war, everything, all of that is the extreme sort of case, but what about on a daily basis? How we connect with each other, right? That, on a regular basis. So, those of us living in North America, right? In society, and every day with the people we meet. What about those things? This idea that, my feelings, what I want, what I need is more important than those of others. Shouldn't be that way. Because to me, if we're connected and we all see ourselves on the same level, which we are, if we think about the idea of nature and where human beings are, right? We're at the top of the food chain. The mentality, the conscious mind, being of having that ability to be intellectual. But yet, because of our experiences, because of the pain and the misconceptions that have plagued us for so long, how we connect with one another has been so corrupted, if you will. And how do we get back to a place of oneness and connectivity and love and universal love? It's by healing our pain. When we operate from, or allow our emotions to take control of our decisions and things like that, and sort of be in the driver's seat, it's essentially like you have a bunch of newborns, if you will, inner children, running the world and running amok. I talk about about this idea of this, because of the disconnection in society, among people, that we're entering in, or what I would consider a zombie apocalypse, if you will, and how detrimental that is for the entire planet. If we continue down this destructive path that we're on, and how we treat one another, we're eventually going to wipe ourselves out. And probably put us back into God knows what. I don't know, dinosaur times? Where humans didn't exist, period. And one thing that came up for me in therapy was the thought of why I do what I do. Why I dedicate myself to community, activism, if you will. Why mental health is important to me. Why I'm striving to not only heal myself, but how to better understand and support other people around me. And I'm thinking, but if this is the way we're continuously treating each other, what am I putting all this effort in for? For what reason? Why do I care so much if nobody else does? But I also realize that thinking is also very destructive, because if I continue with that mindset, then the world wins. Chaos wins. Darkness wins. And I don't know about you, but not on my watch. Has it been hard being the type of person I am? Being open? Yes. Have I gone through many obstacles and pain because of this? Yes. But I don't want to be a zombie. So one of the things that I've also been working with, or one of the decks that I've also been working with and been loving, and I I actually pulled a few cards and was inspired to do a post on Instagram, which I did yesterday. And I pulled 4 sets of cards. I may post the picture probably at the end of this video so you can see what cards came up from the Spiral Oracle deck. This is the one by Lily Acuna. Let me show you the box. Give me a second. This is a Spiral Oracle. And it is still available, and I think you can pick this up on Amazon, but it's also on Etsy. And there are 62 cards in this deck. So the cards I pulled this evening are Cool Forest Shade, Crystal Clear, Perceptions, and Fibonacci. And the messages in the guidebook are really great, and I absolutely love this deck and feel that it is great for self-reflection, even shadow work, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like a shadow work deck, but you know, it because of the introspection and what's written in the guidebook and the way it makes you think really screams to me therapeutic, you know, introspective worthy deck, oracle deck. So Cool Forest Shade. And I'll read to you what was in there. Okay, Cool Forest Shade. I have already realized that the perfect time to do things does not exist. Fear of making a mistake is to die slowly, is to live halfway as if in an eternal rehearsal. In the face of external orders that humiliate my conscience, I am disobedient. I take indifference in my hands and look at it closely. I observe that it is made of cowardice, and in an act of love, I offer it to the fire. Daring to build or dismantle in order to grow means losing one's balance. So with courage, I go out to find myself, because if I don't, I invite the danger of getting lost. Fear is always ready to show me things in their worst light. The world belongs to those who dare. Dare. Life is an adventure. Fortune favors the brave. Today I embrace the art of the decisive. Okay, crystal clear. Crystal clear. I was wrong. My old beliefs were looking out with the eyes of my ego. Freedom and responsibility are inseparable. I am not afraid anymore. I know who I am. And yes, I do. I'm love. So are you. But anyway, I'll let you discover that for yourself. I accept the consequences of my past actions. All my past decisions, conscious or not, brought me to the place where I am right now. And this is the perfect place. I acknowledge my mistakes. I am grateful to see them without any guilt. I am the creator of everything. That's why I don't give my power or my responsibility to others. I don't blame it on life's circumstances. Now, I create new beliefs and a brand new world. I learn with love from my past mirrors, my past relationships, my past experiences. I also learn that the past has passed. Freedom. I take over my present freedom. I do not dig any more into the past. I acknowledge that it is now that I have the power to change things, thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and circumstances. I have the responsibility of acting with love towards my own being. No one else can do it for me. I give thanks because today I trust in my own power. And that's where, even if you take a look at both of these cards, I don't know if you can see, but cool forest shade. This image here, and I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but I'm hoping that you can. But in here, in the image, you see a person's face. You see that of what looks like a lion or a tiger. There are leaves, and it's all blended. So to me, this is confirmation that we are all connected to Mother Gaia, to Earth, to our planet. But as we are all connected to the planet, that means we are all connected to one another. And that is something that seems to get lost and forgotten a lot of the time, and has been for a long time, because of the way that we interact with one another. This idea of competition, my needs are more important than yours, this connectivity to monetary gain and value, right? The world's resources being hoarded, and we basically are expected to chase after it, right? It's supposed to be a shared experience. We all live here, so we should all respect each other equally. But we are also human and flawed, right? And as we go through life and we have our various experiences and we have our, various traumas and how we deal with that, it is important to be able to address those things and heal it, right? For the sake and the betterment of ourselves moving forward, and into, as we evolve, over time. And it being very crystal clear that while we don't have control over certain things like time, right, like nature, we can try to manipulate it, which we have, right? But we see the destruction that comes of that, to ourselves, one another, the planet, right? But the only real control we have is over ourselves, our governing body, who we are as individuals, right? And with that being said, How we respond to situations is our responsibility. The mistakes we made, that we make, right? We have to take account of those things and take responsibility for them and how it affects, right? This idea that, I'm not going to let someone talk to me disrespectfully, but in the same token, the way I'm going to communicate that is disrespectfully, then you're only inviting that same karmic event to then take place towards you. So then this idea, tit for tat, where does it end? Where does the karmic cycle end? Unless we, as individuals, take responsibility for the part we play. Perceptions. That's the next card. I'm going to read that. Perceptions. I am now at a point in life where I am able to consciously look at the different paths I may choose to travel. I can follow the same path by choice and continue to grow. I can change to another path and explore other mysteries. I can also deconstruct myself if I choose to. I can begin again. Today, I measure how much my old learnings limit or expand me. When I consciously observe the path I have taken, I can choose my next step with more certainty. I am exactly at the right point to review my values, principles, and interests. I stop for a moment and reflect on the lessons I have learned from my successes and failures. Thus, I find the clarity I was looking for. There are things to care for, and I go step by step. Broadening the view, reinvention. I stop, breathe slowly, and contemplate for a moment where I am. There is no need to change my essence to face new challenges and discover opportunities. Love is more than just a word. It is an attitude that springs up before everything around me. I give myself to the world because I belong to the world, and the world is mine. Today, life brings the answer or the question that I need most. So to me that really talks about exactly what I've been saying and why I emphasize the importance of therapy, why introspection work is important, reevaluating the things that we were taught. Is it still useful? Was it actually helpful? And is it helpful now? Why isn't it? Do I need to revamp how I do things because it's not working? Those things, all of those things, and a lot of the time, especially when it comes to our emotions and, sort of what we were taught as, in our upbringing, could be what is not necessarily the right thing, because what we were taught and from whom right? It's where did they learn that from? Who taught them? And were they even taught right? So, or in, to follow the right path. Things get misconstrued because we are flawed human beings, right? And oftentimes what comes up, the ways about life that we go about and how we go about it is all about, trial and error. So does that mean that we're just to blindly continue on a path that no longer works, or that has negative outcomes and has? Or do we try to find a solution? Fibonacci. Oh, that's the last card. Fibonacci. Nature. Simple and complex. It is an everlasting source of observation and knowledge. Flowers, branches, and plants impregnate me with their perfection. Therefore, contemplating, I ask her. And in her reflection, I find out that I am like an underground current, hiding infinite secrets within its diverse patterns. I observe my path moving like the rhythmic sequence of the spider web, and that is how I am weaving my own life. In cyclic progression, revealing the secrets that tell me how to navigate my own journey. I finally remember that I am nature herself, and I observe the illusion of living separated from her. I remember who I am, who we are, and step by step, I move forward along my path. Patience. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. I am love, so are you. Until next time, love yourself, love one another. Take care of each other. And don't forget to live, listen, and learn. Bye, guys.
Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. No matter what people want.